Hello students, I'm teacher Debbie here, back again with another lesson in English for class 4. Jeannie's Amber Beads. Now this lesson is about a little girl named Jeannie who lived among the highlands with her mother and father. Now on her 12th birthday, she received a beautiful gift. The gift was a necklace from her grandmother. It was made out of amber beads. So she was very curious to know how it was made and from where amber came, from where that amber that the beads were made out of came from. Now these beads were very interesting. Each bead had something embedded in it. So that was also what made her want to know more about these beads, and that is how amber was formed. So in this story, we will learn about how amber is formed as well. So I'll read the lesson to you and explain it as well. So let's move on with the lesson. Okay students, so let's get started with the lesson. Jeannie's Amber Beads. Jeannie was a little Scottish girl who lived among the highlands. She lived in a simple hut in the beautiful hills. Jeannie's father kept sheep on the hillsides, and Jeannie and her mother spun and wove beautiful cloth on their looms. So Jeannie was a Scottish girl who lived among the highlands. Her father was a shepherd, and her mother and she spun and wove beautiful cloth on their looms. Now, what are looms? Looms are frames or machines used for weaving thread into cloth. One thing that Jeannie treasured was a necklace of amber beads. You all know what is a necklace. Necklaces are made of different beads, different stones. So she had a necklace made out of amber beads. Her grandmother had given the beads to Jeannie on her 12th birthday. The beads had the rich color of bright sunshine. When an amber bead was rubbed, it gave off a fragrance. What is the meaning of fragrance? A strong and pleasant smell. It gave off a fragrance and it could attract things like a magnet. So when you rubbed the beads, it gave out a lovely smell, and that smell would attract anything like insects, like a magnet. You know magnets, right? A magnet attracts iron. Similarly, this fragrance that came from the beads when rubbed attracted insects. So we can see here that each bead was different. Every bead had something different inside it. Like one had a ferny moss inside, another bead had a tiny fly with its wings outspread. Another bead had 2 pine needles lying across each other. And so each bead had something different embedded inside it. What is the meaning of embedded? Stuck firmly and deeply within. And each bead looked so beautiful that Jeannie spent a lot of time just admiring them. Jeannie's grandfather had got the beads from the wreck of a ship Goshawk, which had sunk in the sea waters near his highland home. He had gone looking for what he could save from the wreck. There among the slippery seaweeds, he had accidentally stepped on this piece of amber. It was a clear, shining lump, and all the creatures had been embedded in it. So as you can see, Jeannie's grandfather had found the lump. When he first found it, it was a lump of amber. And where did he find it? He found it in the sea waters near his highland home. There was a ship that was wrecked there. So he went to see what he could get out of that ship, and that's when he accidentally stepped on this piece of amber. And when he saw it, he must have found it so beautiful that he brought it home. Now, from this lump, grandfather had carved out the beads himself and had given them to his wife as a wedding gift. So, this big lump was made into small beads by her grandfather and then into a necklace. And he gave it to his wife as a wedding gift. He had worked very carefully to save the embedded insect or weed in each piece. How his young wife had loved it. Now, who was his young wife? His young wife was Jeannie's grandmother. She had worn it for many years and then had left it to her granddaughter. But what puzzled Jeannie was how the amber came to be on the seashore and how the bees, the moths, and the other creatures had got inside. So she looked it up in a book. She learnt that long before any humans appeared on earth, the Scottish Highlands were covered with forests. There were oaks, poplars, beeches, and pines. What are oaks, poplars, beeches, and pines? These are all names of trees. Among them was one kind of pine, tall and stately, from which a shining yellow gum flowed. This beautiful yellow gum was fragrant. It's also called resin. What flows out from the trunk of the tree. And it is very watery initially, and then it starts flowing, and then it kind of becomes little harder and harder and harder. Thousands of little insects fluttered about it in the warm sunshine. They were attracted by its pleasant smell, perhaps too by its taste. So what happens when this sap or gum or resin, as you call it, starts flowing? It gives out a fragrance. This fragrance attracts a lot of little insects who start fluttering over it. And then maybe the smell, maybe even the taste was good. We don't know. And once they alighted upon it, alighted means once they sat upon it, they stuck fast and could not get away. So they were kind of trapped once they sat on it. The great yellow drops oozing out surrounded and at last covered them entirely. Wind-blown bits of moss, leaves, acorns, cones, and little sticks too were soon stuck in the fast-flowing gum. As time went by, the gum hardened more and more and became amber. In those very old times, the land sometimes sank down into the sea, so deep that the water covered the very mountain tops. And then, after several centuries are hundreds and hundreds of years, the land was slowly lifted up again. The great forests of the north of Scotland, the oaks, the poplars, and the amber pines sank into the deep sea. There, lying at the bottom of the ocean, the wood and the gum hardened like stone. Only the great storms could disturb them as they lay half buried in the sand. It was one of those great storms that had brought the lump of amber closer to the shore where Jeannie's grandfather found it. When he gave the necklace to his wife, he did not know that he was giving her a little piece of nature and that his granddaughter would wear it one day. So students, hope you enjoyed this lovely story about Jeannie and her beautiful gift. A gift of a necklace made from amber beads given to her by her grandmother on her 12th birthday. Now we'll do one exercise on page 40B. Choose the correct answers to complete these sentences. The first one. The main idea of the text is, I'll read the options for you. The life of Jeannie's grandfather, the wreck of the Goshawk, the way amber is formed. So what is the main idea of the text? Yes, the main idea of the text is the way amber is formed. Second one. When grandfather gave the necklace to his wife, she was A. like Jeannie, B. a bride, and C. an old woman. So we know that when grandfather gave the necklace to his wife, he gave it to her on her wedding day as a wedding gift. So she must be a bride at that time. So B, a bride. Third one. The tiny insects were trapped in the beads when A. grandfather put them into the beads carefully. The lump of amber lay on the ocean bed, and C. pine gum covered them. So what is the right answer? Yes, the tiny insects were trapped in the beads when the pine gum covered them. The fourth one. When compared to human beings, the amber is much older, somewhat old, or younger. Yes, it is much older because they said centuries. For centuries, or then after several centuries, the land was slowly lifted up again. So the word centuries itself tells us that it was after hundreds and hundreds of years. So I'm sure the amber was much older than human beings. The fifth one. Amber comes from pines, poplars, oaks. Yes, that's an easy one. Pines. And the last one. Pine gum hardens into amber in the forests, on the ocean bed, on the mountain tops. Okay, yes, B, on the ocean bed. So with this, we come to the end of this lesson. So students, hope you enjoyed this lesson. I hope you will read it again so that you can understand it better. See you soon. Till then, take care, stay safe.